What's going on, everybody? Alex here, getting ready to do a stream here, obviously. um, Working on this jam game, pseudo jam game, not really, but for a jam. But anyways, I digress. It's not important. What is important is that we're making a game, baby. Oh yeah. So, in today's stream, I hope to expand a little bit on what we've started. And for those that are just kind of joining us, working on, I did some animations yesterday. I didn't go to bed until really late, but I decided to go ahead and, hey, what's up, Sean? How you doing, bud? Work on some sprite stuff before we get too far in today. I would like to get the attacking system working and the wave. Oh, my mic is low. It should not be. It's on max. Are you sure it's not your side? No, yeah, it's full on Streamlabs, and I'm watching the dial. It's all the way up. I'm not sure why it would be low? Question mark. Um. No, it says. Like far, like I'm far away. Let me unplug and replug in my microphone. Maybe there's an issue here. How about that? Anything? Because this is my normal setup. I haven't changed anything. Um, hmm. Interesting. Strange. All right. Well, there we go. So yeah, I did a yeah, maybe. Not sure what that was about. But so I did some animations. I did well, the idle animation for the player. Let's see here. Let's play that. Just a nice 4-frame bob. We don't need anything too crazy. And then I did a animation for the player's death. Since in this game you are coming from this entity called the light, you're summoned through the light, and so you're like returning to the light, if you will. We're gonna make some jokes in there, I'm sure, but let's see where we're at. Whoa, what happened to all of my textures? What? Hello? I don't understand. What? Okay, Gdevelop. You do you. We're gonna restart Gdevelop. Nope, I need that. Please don't close that. All right, let's try this again. There we go. All right. So basically right now we don't have too much going on. I was tired of looking at the player naked. So rather than building clothes, I just added a sensor bar. So if anybody's wondering what that black thing is, it's just a sensor bar. Tired of seeing his naked body running around. So I think the first thing that we should do is build endless waves and start on those mechanics first, and then leveling up and adding player stats and stuff. So I would like to get the melee to work, so when I left click, the dagger comes out and like attacks in a range distance. So but I need someone who's better at math. I think I need a reborn. So when Reborn gets on, sure that they will, maybe I will ask them for help. So until that time, let's see what we can do. So, level managers now are experience. We should rename level manager to leveling manager, but that's okay. When okay, so we have this thing that we're doing where we're drawing a dimmer on the screen so that when we level up, it'll get to the point where it shows us a level up screen. So let's get to the game where we to the point where we can level up, and then we will work on getting. I'm trying to think here. Level up is important. What else do we need? Oh, monster spawning. Yeah, we'll do the level up screen and then we'll go do the monster spawning because we won't be able to level up until after we have monsters. So, all right, let's do this. Event group. We're gonna call this. There we go. I just couldn't decide what I wanted to call it. Let's see. I have per instance of player. We want experience to be like that. Let's do another section here and say when the player variable XP is greater than or equal to the player stats max experience. So every time we fill up that bar, basically, we want to pause the game so we can set our time scale to 0. So 0 is our game pauses, and then we can show the level up layer. Show layer level up. And then when every time we do level up, we want to change our character experience back to 0. So our character, so player variable number experience set to 0. And then we're going to do this again for max experience. And what we're going to do is pass through the max EXP. So it's going to be, we're going to floor it though. So we want to make sure that it's always rolled down. It's not, because we're going to multiply by like 0.1, 0.5, whatever. So floor variable actually be floor player. I don't think I need to pass it as a variable because it already is. So I should be able to do stats max experience. And we're going to multiply that by 1.5 every time. So every time we level, it's going to keep doing that. Floor. This needs to be variable wrapped like that. I think. Can I do it this way? We don't need that there. Well, I guess we'll see when we level up. And then we need to set our life counter. So here we change our life, our experience counter rather. It's red, so my brain went straight to health. We're gonna change these. Guess it doesn't really matter which way those go into order. And now basically every time we hit this loop, it'll do this. So then it would then bridge us into this leveling up section. So we have a whole system here that effectively allows us to level. We have a level loop. And we're doing it for each instance of pickup, because we're not just generating, we're generating basically for every experience. We integrate both of these. So and then we'll have like buttons or images or something that we can click. So let's, before we go too far here, let's stop on the leveling manager and let's go back to the enemy machine and create a method. All right. Let's see. All right, now I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, monsters. It's like had brain lapse of brain functionality there. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna be doing a wave spawner system for now, and we're gonna be basing it on the wave format. I think that the other way we could use a timer and run time, because once we get to minutes and everything else, we can start calculating like in Vampire Survivors, where we see yeah, not sure. All right. Let's work on enemy spawning. All right. So we're gonna start this in the enemy finite state machine. We're gonna build this all the way at the top. And we're gonna say at the beginning of the scene. Oh, 1G. At the beginning. At the beginning, there it is. At the beginning of the scene, we want to start a new a timer. And let's see. let's start 2 timers. Enemy spawn and like an enemy spawner timer and a wave counter timer. So timers, we're going to start a timer. We're going to call this one enemy spawn. And we're going to start another one, and we're going to call it wave timer. Wave spawn wave. I guess wave works. Underneath it, we need to create a timer count. Every X amount of time we want to do something. So let's timer wave. Timer. If the timer, time scale, value of the timer, there we go. Wave is greater than 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 30 seconds. We'll do it in 30 seconds. Greater than 30 seconds. We want to change the, we'll do a scene variable. Wave count will equal, or we'll add 1. Wave count. Wave dot wave count. Yeah. And then we're going to reset it. All right. So every 30 seconds, we'll spawn a new wave. And we're just going to slowly increment those waves. All right, how many do we want to spawn every wave? Right now we're killing 3. We already have 3 on our web page, so let's continue that. So, yeah, it's fine. So now when we spawn stuff, trying to think about how I want to do this. All right. So here we already have, if we can now start checking for that hit stun or is hurt. So now we can see like when the enemy control is now here. And then we can see our state controllers, our unit types, and for each enemy loops. So we can lock the thing from moving effectively. This doesn't need to be a basic unit control. I think we got a little mixed up here. Let's see. Um, I want the enemy to always do this, so we're going to pull this out of the basic control. We'll do for each enemy, and we'll still move it below. Unit types is always true, so we don't need that either. We can pull that out. On created only happens at the beginning, so that works. And the finite states we need to pull out as well. Mm. Kind of made a mess of some of this script. It's kind of spaghetti. But we'll do some organization here soon. Let's move this down as well. Validate all this stuff is working still. All right, very good. So now, big thought. Every time, all right, we're gonna create a new event group and call it enemy game mode. Game mode. Edit. We're gonna call this. Oh, whoa. Okay, that's how you do that. I was wondering. That's crazy. Wait, now how did I do that? Edit. Okay, cool. Game modes. If the variable of the global, if the variable of, that's a scene. I want global ones. Text variables, Boolean, I think, actually. Game state, checkpoint weapon data. Let's do game state dot, what do we need to do here? Dot game mode dot wave survival is true. We're going to go change that into our main system here. We're going to go to our global settings. Go to game state, add a new structure. Call this game modes. Or game mode? I don't know what I did. Or we'll just call it game mode, and then we'll change that to structure and add the Boolean to wave survival. I'll just call it wave. And that's a Boolean. So game mode wave is true. And it should start off as true because that's what we're starting our game currently in. There we go. Wave, we'll set that to true. It's the only game mode we have, so. All right, so when that mode is, let me close the camera, debugger, the attack. All right, so when that game mode is true at the beginning of the scene, start these timers, because we don't need those enemy spawn timers unless that's happening and functioning. So game mode should be the first thing that we get. Enemy control systems. And so we want always on created to assign them a weaponry. And then for each, we'll do a new group event and call this one will be green. So it's going to be on created. This one is not hit. We can edit this and do a blue state, some sort of something to just let us know. So when we're not hit, we can control, they can control their character. And then when, so now we need to duplicate this and say when hit. I hate these extra colors actually. I regret doing this. So when hit is true, no player controls. They can't move. So basically what we're doing, yeah, what's up, Blue Knight? Basically what we're doing is setting it so that way when they're hit, or when they're not hit, they can move, they'll pursue you. And then when they're hit, go to true. And then we'll start like a wait timer for being hit, which could be like their cooldown or anything like that. So right now, once they get hit, they'll still freeze in place. So we'll fix that later. But for now, we want to get them spawning as and moving towards you as they should. So, unit types. So we can do that underneath control. We can on created. We'll develop the unit array. Not really an array. It's just a unit list. We'll call it unit list. Let's see here. For each enemy, okay. Now we need one more. Call this enemy spawn logic. So in the enemy spawn logic, and we're going to make this one purple because why not? We're already deep into it, boys. All right, enemy spawn logic. When the timer, so the timer, scene timer of enemy spawn is greater than, we'll say 3 divided by player stats No, we need a new, we need a variable wave. We already added wave. I think. Did we ever create that? We're gonna go check. I don't know if I did. Can't remember now. Edit scene variables. No, we don't have anything. So on the scene variable, let's create. We'll call this wave. Wave count. Number 1. And then we'll change this from wave to wave count. There we go. So every rotation of this timer, we are going to pick a random spawn point. And now, in this case, I'm going to now move the enemy spawners out. Why you do this? Why? Wait. What? Listen here. All right, we're gonna make this just a 3x3 or there. Holy cow! Demonic. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're just gonna keep doing this. I would have liked to have not done that. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I can't believe that actually worked perfectly. Okay, that's fine. And then 1, 2, 3. This one we got to do a little bit differently. I think we're gonna have to do it in 2s. Yeah, I'm a legend. Basically perfect. All right, then we're gonna control this. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. Click and drag down. Those are just gonna have to be the way that they are, I guess. No, we're not gonna do it this way. We might do it this way. One of the things that we can do is we can set all these enemy spawn points and then have it so it's always spawning monsters outside of our camera range. However, let's see. How many times? Every time that this happens. Create an enemy. Okay, so we're gonna have one spawn point. I have an idea. So we're gonna have one spawn point. because it doesn't matter. We're going to move this. Every time we have an enemy, it's going to spawn on this cube. And we'll never see the cube. So we're going to move it to... we're going to move it to the UI layer. Even though it's on the UI layer, we're going to use it to spawn. So it's always going to be outside of our screen. Always. There's never a condition where it will be inside of our screen. So we're going to create our enemies out there. And then they're going to get assigned a random... we're going to randomize a number. And then we're going to select whatever from that random number. We're going to select the monster types that could be spawning. So basically, in this wave, for every amount of minions or whatever we have, each one that spawns has a random chance at being something else. And that way we can do the skeletons, maybe they have a different attack pattern than the goblins, and then we can just keep iterating on this. For every monster we have, we just add another number to the rotation here. So it's the number of monsters we have over the wave count. So we're going to, every time this happens, create a object, and we're going to create an enemy. So an enemy, that's the whole group. We want to create an enemy. And we want to create it at the spawn, enemy spawner X, enemy spawner Y. It doesn't matter. And then we want to do that we're going to spawn them on the base layer, but because the enemy spawner is on the UI layer, it should always be outside of our screen. I think so. And then we're going to put that around the player. Around a position. And we're going to put it around the player. Put the enemy around the player at the position around the player. Object, player, camera. Okay, distance is camera, width divided by 1.8, and the degrees is random. In range 180, negative 180, and then 180. So in a 360 around you. Put the enemy around the player at that angle. And now that we've done that, we can create a condition where every time this happens, we want to start the enemy spawn. Start the timer of enemy spawn. And then change the scene variable. Variable scene. Is it text number variable? And we're going to do wave count. We're going to add one of our own. And we're going to call this random enemy chance. A random enemy. And that's a number. And so we're going to set that to random in range. And then we're going to floor it. So 0 min floor can I use min here? Min floor variable Hey, what's up, Ryan? I am using Gdevelop, which is JavaScript and HTML. That's Gdevelop 5. Wave count. Wave count divided by 2. We're going to do 3. And then 2, or and then comma 2, and close that up. There we go. So now we want to change the random enemy to that. So then after this, we're gonna just proc it underneath. You could go on the bottom, it doesn't really matter. You can put this new one incoming wherever. And now we're gonna check. So actually, this is great. We don't need to create anything here. We can pull this out. Since we already have this, we can now say when the variable, and this is a scene variable, so when the number variable of the scene object random enemy equals 0, when it equals 1, and when it equals 2, we want to create something. So right now, the idea is that we have 3 different enemies, so we're going to create a new enemy. 1 second, guys. I have an incoming phone call. I'm going to keep working here, but give me just a second. I got to take this.